YouTube, man, I'm going to explain to you guys about this Ford Bronco and the troubles I had painting this car. This car almost made me quit my job. I was almost done with painting. I said, I don't need to be doing this. This is for professionals. I can't do it. I'm done with it. But I'm going to explain to y'all how it all came out all right. And we're going to get into it. As I promised, I was going to show you guys, when I made mistakes and all that good stuff, not just show you the great jobs where I got the perfect finish and all that. So, as I always do, I start out with my base coat blender, get that all down. It's just a clear base coat. Helps out the blends and helps fill in some of the prep scratches, which I pretty much prepped it all with 800 grit on the DA. It was just a scratch in the door. It was a scratch in the back door, all the way from the front door to the fender. Now the front door and the fender sanded out with the 800 grit. It was just, minor scratch, didn't break the clear coat. But the back door, it actually dug down to some of the primer, man. I just used my UV putty. I got, I don't even know the name of that stuff. It's UV putty, and you just put it in there, use a little UV light. It dry in like 30 seconds or something. I sanded that down with like some 320. Then I hit it with some aerosol primer, which was my first mistake. I just figured it would be all right because it was just a little small situation. Put a little aerosol primer on it, and of course the aerosol primer came back to bite me, of course. But anyway, putting on the base coat, man, and here's my problem. The paint code's NE. As you can see, as I'm putting it on, it looks whiter. There's only one variant to this color. I think Ford started using it in like 2020 or something like that. One variant to the color, and I'm trying to blend it out, and I think I can see where that primer is, even though it's like my second coat of base. And I'm like, man, and really, I already knew how to fix that. That wasn't my big issue. My big issue was the color matching, man. And I'm like, I can't blend this out, which I've had this problem before on a Subaru. I don't remember the paint coat on the Subaru, but it was a similar color, one of those solid colors, but it's like a grayish color there, and I could not get it to blend out, and I blended it and I cleared it, and I ended up repainting it. So in this car, which is a brand new car, so they're gonna want it perfect, I did not want to clear over that blend. Now here I got a little 800 grit sandpaper, it might be 600 grit, and I'm using the soft block, like in those door block kits. It comes with a flexible soft block. I'm using that because you don't want to use a hard one and dig into the base coat, and then you're gonna be really sanding that out and basically starting over. So wait for that base coat to flash. I gave it about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. Let that thing flash good before you start sanding on it, because you can get yourself in trouble sanding it before it's ready. But so just a little bit of water there for the lubrication there. But what I'm doing is a little bit of that scratch, man, maybe, I don't know, a half inch of that scratch. It kept bubbling back up like the scratch wasn't filled in or something. So what I'm trying to do is sand down the paint smooth so the base coat will lay over it. And I just went over this whole area because I don't know, that aerosol primer was doing something funny. Now, most time I don't have problems with aerosol primer, but for some reason, this time I did. I don't advise anybody to use aerosol primer. On small bumper jobs, maybe, that's fine. But on these bigger jobs, nah, don't use the aerosol primer. So here, I'm going back over it because once you sand it like that, you got to put more base coat. But I can still see the blend from the last coat of base. So now I'm thinking I'm going to use the body lines to try to hide it. And that's why you see me stopping here on that body line, just letting the overspray from that fan just hit right above the body line, and I'm hoping it'll fade out. But as you can see, you can still see the spot on the front door from the previous coat of base coat, and it was just not working for me, man. If anybody got any advice on these colors, I think they call them pastel colors and stuff like that, but anybody got any advice on them, man, let me know, man. I've had trouble like I said, the Subaru, these Fords. I got a Toyota Tundra coming up. Basically the same color, man. Of course, it's gonna be a different paint code because it's a different brand. So I decided to go ahead and paint the whole thing. And I decided to do a spray out while I was painting the whole thing. Because I didn't do a spray out before, because I'm like, it's one variant, it'll be an easy blend, and that was my fault. You should always do your spray outs, all that stuff, and I was like, I'm just gonna go all the way, get it all covered, and hopefully it matches. Which I took out some of the footage from doing the spray out, but I did the spray out, and it looked like it matched. But as you can see, the color looks lighter, way lighter than the color that's on the car. And man, my nerves was going crazy. My nerves was going crazy in that booth, man. I'm like, oh man, like, even if it's wrong, then I'm gonna have to do a whole bunch of tint in the color, and some blacks, and it was an easy color. It's like black, white, got some green, yellow in there. All that, you know, just, I don't know, probably maybe about 4 or 5 toners. One of the easiest colors to make, but for some reason, and blacks and whites, usually no problem blending those, right? It's just these solid color grays that I always had a problem with. It's like in the middle of what I painted is fine, but everywhere the overspray landed from the blend is like whiter. And I'm telling you, if you can see it before you clear it, you probably gonna see it after you clear it. Now, as you look, the spray out don't look too bad. But to me, in the booth, probably because I was so nervous and so worried about it, even though my boss would just say, all right, paint it over, but I just, once I go in the booth once and you go to repaint something, you're really losing money. You're losing time, the shop is losing money on materials, you know, so you really look bad. But you see, that spray out looks different from what I'm painting. But I did clear the spray out, so that's what's also in the back of my mind. But it looks okay on this, on the, you know, the factory paint job, even though it still looks a little lighter. And to be honest, after I painted this, it was still a little lighter. So I only left one, showing y'all guys one coat of the clear. C2 air cap, Developers DV1 clear gun, C2 air cap, 1.3 tip, 22 PSI, full fan, full fluid. You know, that first coat, you don't go on too heavy. You know, you want a nice closed coat, but if there's a couple little dry spots, not a big deal. You don't want it to solvent pop and do all that crazy stuff because you put it on too thick, or you could take the chance of getting runs and all that good stuff. But yeah, I was nervous. Like, even now, it still looks way lighter. You could tell even on the camera, it looks way lighter than the car's supposed to be. Now, I don't know if the clear makes it darker or it gets darker as it dries, but man, once I put this clear on and I baked it for 30 minutes, I let it sit in the booth after the bake cycle for about another hour, because actually I was nervous to take it out the booth and take it outside, because I wasn't sure if it was gonna match. Like, it literally made me rethink painting cars. Like, I'm like, man, I shouldn't be doing this, man. I'm messing up people's expensive cars. I know this car, I don't even know how much these Ford Broncos, and this ain't the small Ford Bronco, this is the full size Ford Bronco there. I don't know how much they cost, but you know, I'm thinking, man, this lady's gonna be mad, and I'm gonna have to redo it and spend the whole day tint colors, all that good stuff. But it actually all came out all right. Once I got it outside, got it out in the sun, it actually didn't look too bad. And I didn't see the lady when she picked the car up, but my manager told me, man, she was so happy with that car. She said she couldn't even tell that scratch was there. She didn't even know I painted it. I don't know what it is with people. They think sometimes you don't have to paint them. Yeah, some of the scratch you could have buffed out, but all of it you couldn't. And there's the car outside. And if you look closer, it looks a little lighter, but it came out all right. And that's it for this one. I'll see you guys on the next one.